From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2415, this is Ham Nation Headlines for Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. Our top story takes us to Alabama, where antenna and tower thieves have struck again at yet another broadcast property.
Only weeks after a radio station in Oklahoma suffered the destruction of its tower and broadcast site by vandals in search of copper, an AM radio station in Alabama discovered that its 200-foot tower had gone missing overnight. General Manager Brett Elmore of WJLX Radio posted on various social media platforms on Friday, February 2nd, that a worker doing landscaping cleanup made the discovery that morning. He said the guy wires had been cut and the tower was gone. The station's transmitter was also stolen from the nearby building. Unlike in the Oklahoma case, the targeted material was not copper, but stainless steel. Jasper, Alabama police were investigating. The AM station, which is licensed to operate on 1240 kilohertz, has an FM translator that broadcasts on 101.5 megahertz from a different site. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Satellite enthusiasts said a final goodbye to the popular AMSAT CubeSat known as AO-92, which re-entered the Earth's atmosphere on the 3rd of February after 6 years of service. Newsline's Jim Dameron, N8TMW, picks up the story.
Before its weakening batteries made the satellite unreliable, its FM transponder was well used and allowed many hams to set distance records for contacts. The satellite's payloads also included an L-band converter, an experimental camera, and a MEMS gyro experiment. Meanwhile, despite the announcement that Sapienza Space Systems and Space Surveillance Laboratory would decommission the ham digipeater on satellite IO-117, known as GreenCube, the satellite remained in operation after the 5th of February. Petition drives and a letter from AMSAT's president, Robert Bankston, KE4AL, made last-minute appeals to keep the satellite and its well-used digipeater in action. As Newsline went to production, AMSAT's Paul Stetzer, N8HM, told Newsline that the amateur community was still awaiting a response from the Italian Space Agency, which owns the satellite and is leaving it in operation pending a decision.
Across the Atlantic, the earliest of the sweeping changes to UK ham licenses are to begin this month.
The first of the changes to be made to ham licenses in the UK are to be implemented by the end of this month. Amateurs have already begun receiving information from Ofcom newsletters or to read about the changes in the latest issue of Radcom published by the Radio Society of Great Britain. Some of these first changes include permission for foundation licensees to build their own equipment and to operate on the 2.4 gigs and 5 gigs band. The new rules also permit third-party operation under supervision. Regional secondary locators are to become optional. Foundation and full licensees in England may optionally use E as an identifier. Changes to power levels include the ability to transmit while airborne on primary ham bands, but with power limited to 500 milliwatts EIRP. The main documents containing these and other changes to the licensing framework can be found on the Ofcom website. Additional changes are expected to be phased in later this year. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arnewsline.org. With Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, Jim Dameron, N8TMW, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, 7-3. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Mardi Gras. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.